Hi, and welcome back to Football Manager 2024. This is part 6 today of the Port Vale save, and our first friendly will be one of the first things up this morning. But first of all, we need to look back at our team. So, as I go back into the colour chart and show you all the potentials and the colours that I use, to the right here, this tells us basically the players that we're short of that we need to improve. So in the totals column here, we know that the goalkeeper needs to be around 373 and the players need to be 383. Well, if I just show you the goalkeepers, the 328 here is only the senior players. This is 328 is the lowest. So what we do, the 328 then comes off to 373 and leaves us 45 points to find for another goalkeeper for the team. And the worst two positions we're in at the moment is ML, who's 91 points adrift, and MR that's 65 points adrift. So this will just tell you where you need to look for players first. We have made an offer for a goalkeeper that would take that right the way down. We have made an offer for an ML-MR position, but it's only the same player, so looks like he'll go on the left-hand side. And we have tried to make an offer for an MC that I'm not sure we're going to get. So once those three have passed after the friendly, and perhaps one or two of them have come, it may help us decide on where we need to look next, which is urgent. But otherwise, the DRs in this team and the MCs at the moment, and also the DL, look to be fine. I think we're just in problems, maybe goalkeeper, central defender, MLMR, and maybe a striker. So 5 players we may need to get into the club before the first game, the first league game comes around. You can see that Aaron Davis, he left the club on loan. Callum Besford, he's already left the club on loan. These have brought us a little bit of money in, not a lot. And Alex Iakoviti, I'm sure I say that differently every time. He's listed at the moment, but there's a lot of offers for him. And so look, and yeah, we've got Ryan Loft now out there trying to get a club for himself. That will take $3 a week off. And Caelan Ryan is out on loan, so that brings another 220 in. So let's move forward in our game for our friendly. And how do we pick the side? Well, first of all, we're going to start with the goalkeepers. And we have 2 of these in the senior department, and our top one is Connor Ripley and our second one is Jason Vale. So going to start will be Connor Ripley. This would work slightly different in league games, but as it's a friendly, it's really not that important. So yeah, there's Connor Ripley. And on the bench, now I'm only going to put 11 on the bench. You can have 15 in a friendly. So we're going to put Luke Vale on the bench. And if you've seen my videos before, you will know that my first 11 will start the first half, and the 11 on the bench will play the second half, regardless. The only way that could change is if there's any injuries or a sending off. Now, DL, again, we've got 2 because we only need the choice of two. We've got Mitch Clark on 383 and Dan Jones on 373, so they will be our two here. So Mitch Clark will start and Dan Jones will be on the bench. As I say, he will start the second half. Now DC, again, we do them in the order they are. Unless they're injured, of course, and can't play, then we have to go down and use one of these. But it's Kofi Balmer. He will play as the top defender. And then our second one will be Nathan Smith. There we go. And on the bench, now Deborah, I'm sure it was an injury. Let's just have a look here. Okay, so fitness test not required. They're only going to play 45 minutes anyway. So the first one we're going to put on there is Deborah, and Lewis Cass will be the other central defender. Right, that's that position done. Now we're going to look at DR, and our top one there is Jason Lowe. So he will start as the right defender. And on the bench, coming on for the second half, will be Thomas Sang. So that's him done. Now the ML, we don't have a lot of choice anyway, but we're going to start with Connor Grant. A little bit out of position. We are retraining him for that position. And we have a youth player here, Jack Shorrock. And I would say, as young as he is, he doesn't look that too terrible. Right, and that's him on the bench. Now the MC, we've got 4 at the top here. And our starter is going to be Funzo Ojo. And next to him will be Ben Garrity. And on the bench today will be Alfie Devine. Like I said, these players will start the second half that are on the bench. And Oliver Arblaster. On the bench as well. Then the right of midfield today, starting, is going to be Ethan Chislett. And on the bench is going to be Gavin Massey. And up front, we have 4 again here. Our first one is going to be Ush Ikpezu. He's our number 1 player. And Josh Thomas, that's another loanee, he will start as well. And then on the bench is going to be James Wilson. Now going back to James Wilson, remember he's only got a contract that lasts 6 more months before he will leave the club. I'm not going to offer him anything at the moment because I think perhaps we may be able to find somebody that could be better than that. And James Plant, young enough there at 19 to improve, so he makes the bench today as well. Right, and that's the team done. So I just want to make sure that everybody's condition, which is down this column here, is pretty much in a lime green, which the whole squad is, and that will tell you the extra 9 people we've got in the first team, and all those 9 are being unused, and that brings that to 31 players. As I said, we're 2 short, 1 ML, 1 MR at the moment. So that's the team put together, and it says we only have 11 subs instead of 15, but we don't need any more than that. Everyone's happy with the squad. I'm pleased about that, even though I'm the one that's meant to be picking it, but the players like picking it as well. So the teams are warming up. I do have the sound turned down for the game because it's overpowering, and alright, you might not want to hear me in the background anyway, but it is very loud. And this is our first game against Salisbury. Right, we're favourites for a reason, so let's go out there, see what we can do. And I try to start the first friendlies off against teams that are a lot lower than us because we haven't played a 4-4-2 formation with wing play. So we've got to be able to learn that, and I've got to be able to learn the players. So they're out for the game. I let this normally play at its proper speed, so it will take a while, but I really want to see how the players form as a team. And Chislett gets the ball across, and that's the keepers. More interested in looking at the younger players as well. And also Grant down the left there. That was unlucky by our top player. So not a lot of action to start with. 8 minutes gone. 2 shots to nil to Port Vale. So a quiet start all round. I mean, I was expecting to win this friendly by about 3 goals to nil, to be honest, but we do have a second half team that's supposed to be just a little bit under the first team on points. And we're passing quite well, but there's still no goals. Nearly 20 minutes gone, but we've had 7 shots, but nothing on target. And these are the early problems you face. This is why you have to play this amount of friendlies before the season starts, because no one's used to wing play or 4-4-2. It's another chance. So we've had 8 shots, none on target, which is poor. Half an hour gone. Taking too many shots miles out of the area here. But we have had 11 shots to 0, so I'm happy in that sense, but to get none on target is a bit poor. And this time, Port Vale do score from a header, assisted by Thomas. The corner swings in, right over the top. Thomas gets on it, crosses it in, headed home. Ikpeazu makes it 1-0 Port Vale. As I said, I was looking for about a 3-0 win from the start of this. And a great goal by Josh Thomas, assisted by Ikpeazu, and that puts a comfortable 2-0 lead on it with 40 minutes played in the first half. So we were always playing well to a point when we had 11 shots, but at least the last 2 have been on target. And we're up to 13 shots now, 2 on target, 2 goals, and 5 minutes to go till half time. And possession, we're on top there as well, 59 to 41. And we have a weaker side coming out in the second half points wise, and a young player as well who's going to start on the left of midfield because of the shortness, but he does have some okay points. And then hopefully as we run the game on afterwards, someone out of those 3 players that I'm looking to sign, someone will sign from those. And then before the next friendly, I will look again in between that to see if I can find anybody that wants to come. That was a great shot and it was unlucky. So other than the finishing here, 15 shots by half time. Yeah, I think we're playing pretty good. But it is a team that are at least 3 leagues lower than us. So I do expect to have won this comfortably. Whether this form would equate to League One, we'll never know yet. But we do need to improve the side. And that's pretty much it as we approach half time. 17 shots, 3 on target, and 60% possession. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And that's it. As we move into the dressing room. Yep, so I'm happy with that. And now we're going to go down to the tactics. Bring up the squad that played and the squad that will be ready to come on. So there's the change in the goalkeeper. That's the L done. Then we have the 2 central defenders. Wasn't sure about putting Deborah on because just coming back from a slight injury. I'm interested in seeing Thomas Sang. And on the left, this is the youngster Jack Shorrock. I'm looking forward to seeing him as well. Alfie Devine, on loan from Tottenham. That's another loanee as well. And then Gavin Massey, I want to see how he plays. He'll be on the right of midfield, not really seen him there. And up front, we're going to have James Wilson and another James there. I think Plant. So that's the whole of the change. So back to the dressing room and start the second half. So I think I would be expecting just one goal in this half. And you can see all of our subs coming up down the bottom. But always when you move up the league from the National League North and South to the National League itself, you tend to get less players signed for you because they're harder to get, they cost money. We have 50,000 to spend, but it's not long. You can easily spend that on one player. So it's not like your North and South. You know, when I'm down in that league there, sometimes I can sign 15 players on a free, maybe between 30, 50, 60 pounds a week. But it doesn't work when you get to leagues like this. But James Wilson there had a bit of an injury, but he seems to have shaken it off slightly. But nothing seems to have happened in the first 15 minutes of the second half. There is a corner. It's all Port Vale at the moment. And that's wide of the post. That'll be a goal kick to Salisbury. Port Vale 2, Salisbury 0, 60 minutes played. So Alfie Devine coming forward. He's gone round everybody there and taken a shot. So another slow period coming up. We've had 21 shots, 5 on target. Now we've got a free kick. Alfie Devine again. Floats it in. Comes out to Sherrick. So we've done really well at the back today. Not letting one shot through at the moment for Salisbury. They don't have any XG at all registered. And Thomas Sang taking the corner. Oof, that's floated right across. Nobody gets on the end of that. It's a penalty now to Port Vale. Alfie Devine lines it up and scores easily. Port Vale 3, Salisbury 0. 70 minutes gone, 20 minutes to go then. That's a well struck penalty. I didn't really see any play that led to that to see how we got it. So we've got to avoid relegation this season. And I think we most probably have got a team, even if we didn't buy anybody, I think we've got a team that maybe would be on the cusp of surviving. And they're on the ball now, Salisbury, one shot. But I did forecast a 3-0 win, so I'm happy with the scoreline. Sherlock gets a shot in, took a deflection there. Going to be a corner to Port Vale. 15 minutes to go. And the header goes wide, but it's another corner to Port Vale. And after this, we will run the game on until the next friendly. So hopefully someone will sign in between. The game has moved on now to 80 minutes played. So just the 10 minutes left, plus any injury time. And I'm glad I put Deborah in the end, playing well. There's a good rating there, along with Alfie Devine. The ball looked out to me, but James Plant gets on the end of it. 19-year-old striker, and makes that Port Vale 4, Salisbury 0. With 4 minutes left, and I think it's been a good performance in the first half and the second half from the players. Younger players in the second half and lower attributes. 26 shots to 1. We've had 8 on target and 59% possession to Salisbury's 41. And we've had 14 corners to their 0. But this is the thing when you set up these friendlies, you always try and want to play weaker opposition to start with, just so you can feel round properly, get used to the 4-4-2 formation, and then gradually step up with who you're going to play. You want to go into the start of the season with some good wins behind you. There's a little bit of injury time added on, but the whistle should go very shortly. And that's it. It's full time. Port Vale 4, Salisbury 0. I'm very happy with the result and the way you played, so everyone's happy. Right, that is right, yeah, meet expectations as we did there. James Wilson is injured for 2 to 3 days. We knew that anyway from the moment he stepped on the pitch. And we'll continue now till the next friendly and hope that somebody can sign in these next 3 days. So an impressive first win, and that's without any change of personnel. And George Wickens is our first one coming in, signing there till the end of the season from Fulham. That's the goalkeeper, and we'll accept that. So our first goalkeeper that we're going to move out of here will be Jason Vale. And as he is a senior goalkeeper, he can't go anywhere else other than the transfer list. So George Wickens is now going into our senior squad, and he will be our number 1 goalkeeper for the season. So that's him done. And what we're going to do next is now put our, if you like, third goalkeeper, he would have been. We're now going to put him out for loan or list, whichever comes first. And he's on £800 a week. So let's go back into the squad. Jason Vale. We're going to go transfer status. We will transfer list him, confirm. We will also loan list him, confirm. And then we will drop him down to the under 18s. We'll see if the inbox goes red. No, it doesn't. So that won't affect him moaning. And I'm pleased with our first signing. Let's move the game on again. There we go. That's George Wickens in. Our next friendly coming up against Kidderminster Harriers. We're on the 10th, going into the 11th. Are we going to get a second signing? Now, when you've been to one of these weekly staff meetings, instead of attending again, you just go request summary to inbox. You're not really interested in that. Now, Kidderminster are going to be harder opposition than Salisbury, but I would still expect a win there. Now, all these friendlies are at home, but I just want the players to get used to the pitch, everything really. And again, nobody's signing in that part. So we're still on the 10th at the moment. Friendly's on the 11th. So I'm hoping this goalkeeper does well for us this season. We needed to find one on 373. He's on 390, which again tells us he should be good enough to be at a side that wins promotion or wins the league here in League One, and we're expected to avoid relegation. So I'm really hoping that he's going to play well for us. And there we go. Dejan Tetek accepts the Peterborough offer. We knew that was coming. And Ellis Taylor's going to sign on loan for the season. So that's another one that I'm happy about. So Ellis Taylor. If we look back in our colour chart at the end here, the more problems we've got at the moment are ML with 91 points over, if you like. So we've got to find somebody who's going to fit into that position, but he can play MR natural as well as ML. So if there's any injuries or anything, we could swap him if we have to. So we're going to put him in there. And Ellis Taylor is on 347, so that's our worst now for that position. 347. Done that in the wrong column. So that's 36 points out. What am I doing? That's 36 points out. So we don't need to bother about another one for that position, but MR is going to be our next one. The goalkeepers are now down to 364, which means they're only 9 points away. So our next two players we need to find, or if we look at what we need to find full stop, I would say if we could find 4 more players for the start of the season, I'd be really happy. So if we could find a central defender, another left midfielder, a right midfielder and a striker, I'd be happy. So just those 4 players that I'm looking to sign, but we won't be doing any more business with those 3. It was a shame because Dejan Tetek looked a good player, and as I said, he could have been worth about 5 million. So he would have been a good additional signing for Paul Vale. And that's it. We've arrived at our next friendly. So I'm just going to save the game. I forgot to do that at the last episode. But this is going to be part 6. So we'll call this one Port Vale 6. So what I'm going to be doing in between before the next friendly, I'm going to try and see if I can get any more signings. But we have Wickens who's going to start in the next one, and also in ML on the bench will be Ellis Taylor. So we're gradually building slowly but surely. What I just want to have a look at again before I go is down in the bottom right hand corner for the goalkeepers. We're 1361 under budget, so we still have movement there. The DLs, we have 1031 under budget, so we have money to spend there. Then we move into the central defenders. We still have 1861 to spend. In the DR, we have 111 to spend. The MLs, we have 1431 to spend. The MC is slightly over budget by £379. We'll look to move somebody on, I'm sure, at some point. Then the MR, we have 451 under budget. And the strikers, we're slightly over here of 1879. This is over budget, but don't forget, we're trying to sell or loan out Ryan Loft that will take that away. So I'm happy with the budgets, the wage budgets, how we've got those down to where we want them. We're not going to sign James Wilson on an extension from January, so we'll take that blue off that as a reminder. And our next friendly will be at home to Kidderminster. And as I say, I'm going to look for a few more players in between that. So again, thanks for watching part 6. If you liked it, subscribe, leave a message, and a like, of course. And we'll meet again in part 7. Thanks a lot.